Banished from court and seeking refuge in a magical forest, a vibrant heroine finds love, freedom, and a new perspective. Welcome to the enchanting world of As You Like It. Today we're embarking on a deep dive into one of Shakespeare's most beloved comedies, As You Like It. It's a play just rich with delightful characters, sparkling wit, and some surprisingly profound philosophical insights that still resonate, centuries later.
Absolutely. Still feel fresh.
Our mission here is to really extract the most important nuggets of knowledge, helping you truly understand the timeless human stories, the deep psychological insights, and that universal search for authenticity, for freedom, for new perspectives that are woven all through it. You'll see how this classic connects directly to challenges we still face today, things like finding our true selves, maybe breaking free from societal pressures, and even just the simple power of stepping outside our comfort zones.
And what's so fascinating about, is how it earns its reputation as, the quintessential pastoral comedy. It's absolutely celebrated for its charming characters, its brilliant sort of rapid-fire dialogue, and those iconic philosophical speeches that have just echoed through time.
Yeah, the famous ones.
But dig a little deeper, and what you uncover is how, beneath this seemingly lighthearted surface, the play offers a sophisticated, almost radical analysis of how life could be lived and perhaps how it should be lived.
Interesting.
It genuinely invites us to look beyond just the humor to a far deeper exploration of the human experience, challenging us to consider what truly matters when, all the masks are off.
So it's not just laughs.
Not at all. It's
Yeah.
not just a feel-good comedy. It's a profound meditation on finding your own way.
Okay, let's unpack this then and set the stage. To really appreciate the journey in As You Like It, we first need to grasp the contrasting environments that define it. It's crucial, isn't it?
Absolutely crucial.
On one side, you've got the court, a place that feels restrictive, artificial, full of political intrigue and social performance.
Very performative.
And on the other, the Forest of Arden, this expansive, natural, almost wild space that promises something completely different. What's the real significance of these two worlds?
Well, that's a crucial starting point because the Forest of Arden is far more than just a physical location on a map or, a pretty backdrop.
Okay.
Think of it more as a mythical, almost magical microcosm, maybe a kind of shining island where the usual rules and the relentless pace of the world just don't apply.
Right, like time works differently there.
Exactly. It's a place where, as the play actually tells us, time is out. It's suspended from its usual demanding linear sequence. So, in Arden, the urgencies of courtly life are put on hold, allowing characters to, quote, fleet the time carelessly as they did in the Golden World.
The Golden World,
Yeah.
like a mythical past.
Yeah, this sort of idealized, simpler time, this conceptual space, transcends singular, fixed identity. It offers a much-needed time out from the constant pressures and, the myriad problems they face back in the court. A real breather. And interestingly, Shakespeare subtly ties this rather fantastical Arden to his own home region, Warwickshire in England, even though the play is technically set in a duchy in France.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily depicted as one continuous, dense woodland, but more a large, predominantly wooded area with clearings, farms, stuff like that. So it bridges the fantastical with something more familiar, more lived in.
Grounding it a bit.
Exactly. It suggests that this time out isn't entirely removed from reality, but maybe a space within reality, allowing for different kinds of truths to emerge.
And what truly kicks off this entire adventure, propelling everyone into this time-out space, isn't some grand romantic gesture, is it? It's something much more primal and, frankly, ugly.
You got it.
Yeah.
Deep-seated family disputes.
Right. The initial conflicts driving the whole narrative are rooted in these parallel betrayals. Can you walk us through those twin acts of treachery?
Absolutely. First, you have the major political betrayal setting the tone. Duke Senior, the rightful ruler, has been unjustly exiled by his younger brother, Duke Frederick.
Who just grabs the throne?
Ruthlessly usurps his throne, yeah. And this isn't just politics. It's a profound violation of family trust. So a few loyal lords, refusing to serve this new tyrannical duke, choose voluntary exile. They join Duke Senior in Arden, and their lands, of course, are seized by the usurper.
Hush.
Very. But then Shakespeare cleverly mirrors this on a personal domestic level. Orlando, the youngest son of the recently deceased Sir Roland de Boys, is treated cruelly by his elder brother Oliver.
Ah, the second betrayal.
Exactly. Oliver doesn't just deny Orlando his rightful inheritance and education, which was promised by their father's will. He actively schemes to have him killed in a wrestling match.
Wow, so it's deadly serious.
Oh yeah, these aren't just isolated incidents. They're two sides of the same coin, showing this pervasive theme of betrayal and injustice right from the start.
So these aren't just minor squabbles, are they? These sibling rivalries, really fueled by destructive envy and just naked ambition. They're the actual kickstarters of the play's narrative, rather than, say, a love story.
Precisely. That's a crucial insight. Romantic love enters the picture after these acts of betrayal have already happened.
Okay.
And you see how Duke Frederick's later, seemingly arbitrary banishment of his own niece, Rosalind. It's a direct projection of his ongoing envy and insecurity. It mirrors his initial usurpation against Duke Sr.
Why does he banish her?
He fears her popularity diminishes his own daughter, Celia. Even though Celia loves Rosalind deeply, it's pure paranoia.
And Oliver, what's his motive?
Oliver's own words in the play reveal his deep-seated resentment. He admits he hates Orlando because he puts me in the shade, even while grudgingly acknowledging Orlando's good qualities. It's pure envy.
So envy is kind of toxic in this world.
Absolutely. The court itself is described by one character as the envious court, underscoring that envy isn't just an individual flaw here, it's a corrupting force permeating the entire social structure. It's a world where love and loyalty seem quickly overshadowed by greed and ambition.
These simmering conflicts then quickly reach a boiling point, don't they? Pushing our main characters out of this corrupt court and into the forest.
Exactly. Things escalate fast.
First, we have that wrestling match, Orlando's unexpected victory against Charles the Wrestler. It doesn't just showcase his gallantry, it immediately leads to him winning Rosalind's heart. Sparks fly.
Instant connection. Love at first sight, really.
But then, bam, in a swift and truly shocking turn, suddenly banishes his own niece, Rosalind.
Yeah, it's brutal.
And her crime. Simply being her father's daughter, and maybe more dangerously for Frederick, her popularity, which he irrationally fears, diminishes his own daughter, Celia.
It's absolutely a dramatic tipping point.
Yeah.
And Rosalind's banishment is just shockingly arbitrary. It's not for any wrongdoing of her own.
None at all.
But what truly stands out here is Celia's remarkable display of unwavering loyalty. It's incredible.
She's amazing.
She declares her bond with Rosalind is dearer than the natural bond of sisters. And she insists on sharing her cousin's exile without a single moment's hesitation.
Just like that. I'm going with you.
Exactly. And their choice of disguise is brilliant, serving multiple purposes. Rosalind adopts the persona of the tall young man Ganymede, and Celia becomes the country girl Eliana.
Why are those disguises?
Well, partly it's a practical measure for safety during their journey through a potentially dangerous world, two women traveling alone. Risky.
Right.
But it's also a profound, almost philosophical step towards personal freedom and a really radical exploration of identity for Rosalind especially.
And Orlando.
Meanwhile, Orlando also has to flee. Oliver's murderous plots force him out, leading him by a different path to the very same Forest of Arden.
So everyone's converging there.
Exactly. The stage is set for this intricate web of interactions, disguises, discoveries, all kicked off by betrayal and exile.
And once they all arrive in Arden, their lives begin to intertwine in these fascinating, unexpected ways.
The plot thickens.
Duke Sr., surprisingly, establishes a kind of campsite court in the forest. He even maintains the formality of courtly verse in his speech, almost like he's trying to bring a piece of his old world with him.
Yeah, holding on to some structure.
But Rosalind, Celia, and Touchstone, the jester who comes with them, they acquire a humble cottage. They intentionally stay somewhat aloof from the Duke's camp.
Keep their distance a bit.
And this separation allows Rosalind, in her disguise as Ganymede, to serendipitously encounter the lovesick Orlando.
Who's wandering around being miserable.
And doing what? In a wonderfully poetic gesture, carving poems to Rosalind on trees.
Classic lovesick move.
So she seizes this incredible, almost theatrical opportunity to cure his lovesickness by having him woo her, Ganymede, as if she were the real Rosalind.
Which creates this delicious, complex dynamic. It's brilliant.
And of course, other romantic entanglements blossom too, right?
Oh yes, it's not just them. There's the infatuation of the shepherdess Phoebe with Ganymede.
With Rosalind in disguise.
Exactly. And Phoebe cruelly spurns the devoted shepherd Sylvius in the process. Poor Sylvius.
Always the rejected lover.
And then the really surprising, almost instantaneous love at first sight between Celia and guess who?
Ooh.
The newly arrived Oliver, Orlando's awful brother.
No! Really?
Yes, who undergoes this dramatic and pivotal conversion after Orlando saves him from a venomous snake and a fierce lioness.
Orlando saves him after everything.
Yes, that's a huge turning point. Quite a lot of drama unfolding in this supposedly peaceful pastoral setting. Indeed, Oliver's conversion is truly one of the most powerful and transformative moments in the entire play. It really illustrates a profound act of grace and forgiveness.
Oh, so?
He explicitly recognizes in this moment of searing self-awareness that kindness, nobler ever than revenge, was what guided Orlando's actions, even though Oliver himself had previously tried to murder him.
That's incredible recognition.
And his declaration, "'Twas I, but 'tis not I," is more than just a confession. It's a deep testament to a moral and spiritual rebirth. It's a genuine conversion.
Like he's a new person.
Exactly. This selfless act by Orlando, saving the very brother who had wronged him so deeply, is just central to the play's message of redemptive love and the transformative power of compassion. It shows that even the most hardened hearts can be softened by acts of unconditional good.
And it all builds to this truly joyous climax, doesn't it? Masterfully orchestrated almost entirely by Rosalind. She's like the brilliant puppet master.
She really pulls all the strings at the end.
She finally reveals her true identity, leading to multiple happy weddings, including her own with Orlando, and Celia's surprising union with the now reformed Oliver.
All neatly tied up.
And this grand unveiling is then swiftly followed by the unexpected news of Duke Frederick's own spiritual conversion and abdication.
Yeah, that one comes out of left field a bit.
Miraculously restoring the dukedom to Duke Sr. It's
Yeah.
almost too perfect, isn't it? Bit neat.
It's the perfect comedic culmination, absolutely. And Rosalind's agency in bringing about this resolution is remarkable. She even claims she can do strange things and has conversed with a magician, hinting at an almost supernatural control over events.
Does she actually have magic powers?
Well, maybe not literally, but that idea of magic really speaks to the powerful, almost otherworldly transformation that Arden facilitates. It's a place where these kinds of resolutions feel possible.
Okay.
And the actual intervention of Hymen, the Roman god of marriage, who literally appears at the end to bar confusion and make conclusion.
That thought shows up.
Yes, Hymen himself. It powerfully symbolizes the return to real time and the establishment of ordered wedlock within civilized society.
Back to structure.
Exactly. It stands in stark contrast to the unstructured casual engagements and the fluidity that characterize the forest. It's the bringing of order out of the delightful chaos of Arden.
But not everyone goes back to court, right?
That's right. Interestingly, of all the forest expatriates, Jacques is the only character who resists this return to social order and commitment.
What does he do?
He chooses instead to remain a hermit with Duke Frederick's newly converted self. He embodies this refusal to commit to the settled conventional life, explicitly stating his preference for, other than for dancing measures. He chooses to stay outside the joyous circle.
The eternal observer.
Exactly. He remains a perpetual observer, unwilling to join the collective celebration, highlighting that maybe not everyone finds joy in resolution and societal integration. Some people stay on the outside.
Now let's turn our attention to the incredible characters who populate this world, starting, of course, with Rosalind, our vibrant, witty, and incredibly resilient heroine.
The heart of the play, really.
Her banishment from court, while a deeply personal calamity, paradoxically liberates her, doesn't it? It lets her explore aspects of her identity she never could have dared to touch in that restrictive courtly environment.
Absolutely. It's a forced freedom in a way.
How does her disguise particularly enable this exploration? What does being Ganymede let her do?
Oh, Rosalind's disguise as Ganymede is truly multifaceted. It's far more than just a plot device. It profoundly empowers her.
How so?
It allows her to explore love and identity from a position of control and, importantly, insightful observation. She gets to test Orlando's true commitment and understand the nature of romantic love without the societal pressures she'd face as a woman at court.
She's running the experiment.
Exactly. For example, her humorous yet profoundly insightful retort, "Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love."
Aha, I love that line.
It skillfully undercuts Orlando's romanticized, almost naive ideals. She grounds his lofty, dramatic expressions in reality, gently guiding him towards a more mature understanding of affection.
Toughening him up a bit.
In a way, yes. And her mock marriage ceremony, with Celia acting as a makeshift priest, that also serves a crucial purpose.
What's that?
It probes Orlando's understanding of marital commitment. It challenges fleeting infatuation with the need for steadfastness and enduring devotion. It's like a rehearsal for the real thing.
Seeing if he's serious.
Precisely. She's testing him, seeing if he truly understands what he's asking for. And her physical attributes even play a role in the believability of her disguise. She mentions being more than common tall, which makes her male persona more convincing to others, adding this layer of practical detail to her cleverness.
It's fascinating how her double identity as Rosalind Ganymede creates this perfect environment to question gender roles and stereotypes within the play. She seems so progressive in some ways.
She really does.
But then you mentioned earlier her disbelief about Phoebe's letter. Does that suggest she's still kind of bound by some of the era's biases, even while she's challenging others?
That's a fantastic point, and it speaks to Shakespeare's really nuanced portrayal. Her disguise absolutely allows her to articulate a remarkable deconstruction of gender roles.
For example.
Well, she claims that the wiser the woman is, the waywarder she is, thereby refuting passive perceptions of women and asserting female agency. She's actively dismantling expectations about how women should behave in love and in public.
Taking charge.
Totally. Yet, you're right, we also see her internal conflict with ingrained gender stereotypes. For instance, she expresses genuine disbelief that Phoebe, a woman, could write such a boisterous and cruel style letter.
She thinks a woman couldn't write that.
Yeah, she thinks women's gentle brain could not drop forth such giant rude invention. This shows that while she challenges gender norms with her actions, she also at times reflects the prevailing gender biases of her era.
Complex.
Very. She even admits that her swashing in a martial outside, her brave male exterior, conceals a hidden woman's fear, highlighting the complexity of her adopted persona versus her inner self.
So it's not easy being Ganymede.
Not always. It speaks to the idea that even those who break free from societal norms might still carry internal biases from their upbringing. And then, when you consider that in Shakespeare's time, a boy actor would have been playing Rosalind.
Right, playing a girl.
Disguised as a boy.
Impersonating a girl.
Exactly. It adds further layers to the nuanced interpretations of Rosalind's character as potentially gender fluid or even non-binary from a modern perspective. It really invites audiences to reflect on the performative nature of gender itself.
While Rosalind is navigating her complex identity, we also see the journey of Orlando, the quintessential gallant hero.
A romantic lead.
Despite the cruel ill treatment from his brother, his nobility truly shines through, doesn't it? How does his character develop throughout the play, especially in his relationship with Rosalind?
Orlando truly embodies unwavering morality and a kind of innate goodness. His decision to save Oliver from the lioness and snake, even though Oliver had plotted to kill him.
An astonishing forgiveness.
It's a testament to his profound virtue. It powerfully demonstrates that kindness, nobler ever than revenge, guided his actions, even when Oliver's heart was still hardened by animosity and jealousy. This act of selfless courage breaks that cycle of familial betrayal.
So how does he change?
His journey throughout the play is really one of learning to temper his ardent romanticism with Rosalind's more grounded wisdom and practical insights into love.
So he starts out a bit over the top.
You could say that. He starts as a stereotypical love-struck hero, carving poems on trees, sighing dramatically. But Rosalind's playful cure forces him to confront the realities and commitments of a true relationship.
Brings him back to earth.
Exactly. He learns to appreciate a love that is tested and earned, rather than simply declared in bad poetry, making him a more mature and steadfast partner by the end.
Then there's Celia, Rosalind's cousin. She's such a standout character for her profound love and loyalty.
She really is a true friend.
It's a bond described as dearer than the natural bond of sisters, which just unflinchingly drives her to share Rosalind's exile. This kind of unconditional support is truly remarkable.
It really is, and her loyalty is one of the most heartwarming aspects of the play. Celia's devotion isn't passive, it's active.
How so?
She's willing to sacrifice her comfortable life, her status, her safety, everything, to accompany Rosalind into an uncertain exile. That's a truly radical act of friendship.
And her own romance. It's very different from Rosalind and Orlando's, isn't it?
Very different. Her swift, passionate romance with Oliver serves as this vibrant counterpoint to the more deliberated and tested courtship of Rosalind and Orlando.
It happens fast.
Almost immediate. Her love for Oliver mirrors the suddenness of Oliver's own conversion, suggesting this powerful, almost fated connection. And this rapid development of love in turn ultimately prompts Orlando's impatience to resolve his own romantic entanglement.
Ow.
He sees the immediacy and commitment in Celia's and Oliver's bond, and it kind of nudges the plot forward with a real sense of urgency. He wants what they have now.
Right, why can't I have that?
Exactly. It highlights different pathways to love, showing that while some connections benefit from playful testing, others are simply undeniable.
Okay, then there's Touchstone, the court jester. He's far more than mere comic relief, isn't he? He's almost Shakespeare's designated critic,
The licensed truth teller.
using that jester's mask to deliver hard truths about society that maybe no one else really could.
He absolutely is. Touchstone's role is to provide this stark, pragmatic contrast, particularly in his skepticism and cynicism toward love and human nature.
Which clashes with the romantics.
Directly clashes with the play's prevalent romantic ideals. While everyone else is lost in poetic declarations, Touchstone is grounded in raw reality.
Like with Audrey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His pragmatic relationship with Audrey, the country girl, where he explicitly states, "We must be married, or we must live in Baudry."
Basically, marry me or we're just fooling around.
Pretty much. It serves as a stark counterpoint to idealized romance. It grounds love in the everyday realities of companionship and desire, rather than lofty poetic ideals or courtly pretenses. He reminds us that life and love involves basic needs and agreements.
His wit.
Oh, his keen wit and mastery of language are legendary. He often uses double meanings to expose hypocrisy or absurdity.
Give us an example.
Okay, he interprets, "From hour to hour we rot and rot," not just as the passing of time, but as an accumulation of sexual experience, a decidedly unromantic take.
No. Okay.
And in his conversation with Corin the shepherd, there's a body double entendre on lips when discussing Corin's hard hands from labor, injecting this physical, earthy reality into the pastoral setting.
He keeps it real.
He does. He even cleverly parodies Orlando's awful love poetry, using sexualized imagery like prick to mock the innocence of pastoral love poetry, transforming the courtship of lovers to the mating of deer, literally bringing the high-minded down to earth.
And that final speech.
Touchstone's final speech, The Seven Causes of Quarrel, it demonstrates his mastery over rhetoric and provides a clever, cynical parallel to Jacques' famous Seven Ages of Man. He uses the seemingly innocuous word if as the only peacemaker to avoid a duel. It shows how language can diffuse conflict. He's the ultimate truth teller, hiding profound wisdom behind that jester's cap.
And now Jacques, the play's iconic melancholy traveler.
Mr. Moody.
He's an observant and often, well, disputatious character who embodies this unique form of cynicism. He's full of contradictions, isn't he? Shifting between seeking society in solitude, loving his melancholy, yet capable of laughing sans intermission.
A complex guy.
What exactly is the source of his profound melancholy, do we know? And how does he fit into the play's overall message?
Well, the source of his compounded melancholy is often suggested to stem from a youth ill-spent.
Yeah.
He's maybe seen the worst of the world, perhaps participated in it, leading to this profound contempt for the world and a cynical belief in no man's honesty.
He thinks everyone's bad.
Pretty much. He claims to see only sin and suffering everywhere he looks, going so far as to ridicule romantic love as merely the encounter of two dog apes.
Charming.
Right. What's particularly noteworthy is how Shakespeare gives Jacques this significantly long introduction, like 45 lines before he even appears on stage.
Why do that?
To underscore his importance as a dominant character and a crucial foil to the Duke's more forced optimism and the lover's romanticism, he's there to challenge perceptions.
The party pooper, in a way.
Or the reality checker. He's the constant critic who reminds everyone of life's darker realities and imperfections, preventing the play from becoming too idyllic or saccharine. He's the voice of dissent, prompting the audience to consider alternative, perhaps less comfortable truths.
And of course, his most famous contribution, the "All the World's a Stage" monologue. It's one of Shakespeare's most recognizable and frequently quoted pieces.
It truly is iconic. This speech provides a detailed breakdown of his profound and, let's be honest, gloomy vision of human life.
How does it go again, basically?
He famously compares life to a play, with all the men and women merely players, each having their entrances and exits. And then he catalogs the 7 ages of man.
Right, the stages.
From the helpless infant mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, all the way to second childishness and mere oblivion, sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Cheerful stuff.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
This concept of life's stages was actually a commonplace idea in art and literature even before Shakespeare, drawing from ancient Greek philosophy and medieval thought.
Oh, okay.
But Jacques presents it as a reductive summary of human existence. He portrays it as a pointless and arbitrary journey through these imposed stages without any inherent joy or satisfaction.
So nothing matters.
In his view, yeah. He dismisses the schoolboy's earnest learning, the lover's passionate sighs as insincere, and the soldier's hard-won bubble reputation as ultimately hollow and transient. Human life is just a series of meaningless performances, leading nowhere.
But didn't you say he gets sentimental about a deer?
Yes. This philosophical detachment is strangely juxtaposed with this curious, sickly sentimentality he displays over a wounded deer. He weeps over it.
Why?
Well, some argue it suggests he cares more for animals than for what he sees as undeserving mankind. It's a fascinating contradiction that makes him more complex than just a simple cynic. He feels something, just maybe not for people.
Lastly, we have Duke Sr., the optimistic exile.
The philosophical leader.
He cultivates this deeply philosophical outlook, claiming to translate the stubbornness of fortune into so quiet and so sweet a style. He famously finds tongues in trees, books in the running brook, sermons in stones, and good in everything. He seems to be the picture of resilience, doesn't he?
On the surface, absolutely yes. He embodies remarkable resilience and a philosophical acceptance of adversity. He's deliberately choosing to see the good in his unfortunate situation, finding lessons and solace in the natural world.
But you said on the surface.
Well, while this aggressive optimism is admirable, it can also be seen perhaps as a mask.
A mask for what?
For deeper, maybe darker and more realistic feelings, which he, as a leader, simply cannot openly express. A duke, even in exile, has to maintain a certain demeanor for his followers, right? Keep morale up.
True.
So the Forest of Arden, in this view, becomes a symbolic space where his own emotional turmoil can be indirectly played out, often through Jacques.
How does Jacques do that?
Jacques articulates the uncomfortable truths and melancholic observations that the Duke, as a figurehead, cannot. So Jacques acts almost as the Duke's subconscious, giving voice to the more challenging aspects of their exile.
So the Duke stays positive, Jacques says the negative stuff.
Exactly. It allows these difficult emotions to be aired without compromising the Duke's public persona. It's a very clever way Shakespeare presents leadership and the burden of maintaining morale.
As we peel back the layers of As You Like It, a central theme immediately emerges. That stark contrast between artificial court life and the liberating natural freedom found in the Forest of Arden. This really underpins the whole play, but what exactly does it say about where true freedom and authenticity can be found?
Yeah, that's the core tension, isn't it? The court is undeniably presented as this realm of envy, ambition, and deceit, as we saw clearly in the actions of Duke Frederick and Oliver.
Right, backstabbing central.
Exactly. It's a place of rigid hierarchy, superficiality, constant threat, where a person's worth is tied to their status and power.
And Arden?
In sharp contrast, Arden, while it gets romanticized by the exiled courtiers as an idyllic haven, is also shown through characters like Corin.
The shepherd.
Right, the pragmatic, true laborer, to be a place of daily toil and hard work. Corin views the forest pragmatically. He's concerned with tending sheep, earning a living. He provides this grounded reality check against the courtiers' more romanticized notions.
So it's not all paradise.
Not at all. But ultimately, despite the toil, the forest provides this unique space where conventional inequalities are less rigid, where roles can be shed, and where profound self-discovery and meaningful personal change are truly enabled for those who enter it.
How does that work?
It's a place where the rules of the court do not apply, which negates the law as well. This absence of rigid courtly law creates a kind of crucible for genuine human interaction and transformation. It allows characters to escape not just physical danger, but the very constraints of their former identities.
So freedom isn't just easy living.
Exactly. It suggests that true freedom isn't found in a place without challenges, but perhaps in a place where you're free to respond to them authentically, as yourself.
And speaking of self-discovery, how pivotal is disguise, especially Rosalind's adoption of the male persona Ganymede to the play's exploration of identity and self-realization? It seems to be the ultimate tool for her transformation.
Disguise is absolutely central, perhaps the most pivotal element in the whole play for exploring identity. Rosalind's cross-dressing as Ganymede profoundly empowers her.
In what ways?
It allows her to challenge and transcend traditional gender roles and stereotypes that would have completely constrained her as a woman at court. It connects directly to this idea of gender as performative, a concept explored much later by theorists.
Where identity is something you do, not just are.
Exactly. where clothing serves as a physical marker, but true identity runs much deeper and can be experimented with. Rosalind as Ganymede both embodies this deconstruction of gender roles, like when she claims the wiser the woman is, the waywarder she is, asserting female agency,
Yeah.
while also sometimes reflecting the gender bias and stereotypes of her era, as we discussed with Phoebe's letter. It's a nuanced portrayal. It shows that personal transformation isn't always complete or linear.
And the boy actor playing her adds another layer.
Right. To reiterate, considering that in Shakespeare's time, a boy actor would have been playing a girl disguised as a boy impersonating a girl. It adds these further layers to the interpretations of Rosalind's character as potentially gender fluid or even non-binary from a modern perspective. This multi-layered disguise just invites audiences to reflect on the very nature of identity and how much of it is constructed versus inherent.
That layered performance opens up some fascinating discussions. And this naturally leads us to briefly touch on the interesting homoerotic undertones of the play. While not overtly stated, they're certainly there for interpretation, aren't they?
They absolutely are, and it's a testament to Shakespeare's, well, progressive and expansive view of love for his time. Phoebe's infatuation with Ganymede Rosalind in her male disguise is a clear textual example.
She falls for him?
Hard.
Yeah.
Phoebe declares her love with great intensity, completely unaware that Ganymede is a woman. This allows Shakespeare to explore attraction that transcends conventional gender presentation.
And Celia and Rosalind.
Furthermore, the intense love between Celia and Rosalind, which even Orlando himself observes is dearer than the natural bond of sisters, can be interpreted as an extension of someone's sexuality within the pastoral tradition. That tradition often celebrated intense same-sex friendships and affections.
So it wasn't necessarily seen as strange back then.
It was part of the genre, in a way. And Orlando, for his part, clearly enjoys his flirtation and mock-woo with Ganymede, even though he believes Ganymede is male. This doesn't eliminate his heterosexuality, but it expands the understanding of human attraction.
Interesting.
It suggests that love, and indeed sexuality, can be expressed and experienced in a multitude of ways. These undertones contribute significantly to the play's overall message of love as you like it, embracing varied expressions of affection and demonstrating Shakespeare's remarkable ability to transcend conventional norms. It pushes the boundaries of what was acceptable to show and discuss on stage.
The play truly examines love's many forms, doesn't it? It's not just one kind of love.
Not at all.
From the immediate love at first sight we see in Rosalind and Orlando and Celia and Oliver, to the more grounded, almost pragmatic relationship of Touchstone and Audrey.
Right down to earth.
And the unrequited, painful devotion of Silvius for Phoebe. It's a veritable buffet of romantic experiences.
It absolutely is, and this diversity is key to how, as you like, it actively interrogates the pastoral tradition.
What do you mean by interrogates? Challenges it?
Yeah, it challenges that long-standing literary convention that idealizes simple rural life, often featuring pure, poetic, and sometimes unattainable love between shepherds and shepherdesses, completely removed from the complexities of urban life. Shakespeare takes that trope and puts it under a microscope.
How does he do that?
Well, Rosalind, through her active guidance and cure of Orlando, brilliantly subverts the passive beloved trope. She takes charge of their courtship, makes it more realistic, more reciprocal. Her wit and challenge to Orlando's romantic cliches force him to grow beyond superficial infatuation.
She educates him in love.
Pretty much. Then you have Touchstone's marriage to Audrey, driven by pure practicality. We must be married, or we must live in bawdry, rather than poetic declarations. This offers that stark counterpoint that grounds love in everyday realities and desire, rather than purely lofty ideals. It also reflects evolving societal views on marriage at the time, which were often about property and social standing as much as romance.
And Silvius and Phoebe.
And Silvius's unrequited devotion to Phoebe, who is infatuated with Ganymede, highlights the pain and, frankly, the folly of one-sided love. This rich tapestry demonstrates that love isn't a single idealized emotion, but a complex, multifaceted human experience found in various forms and motivations.
Finally, the play delves into these profound themes of forgiveness, redemption, and reconciliation, particularly through the powerful transformations of characters like Oliver and Duke Frederick. It's almost a spiritual journey for some of them.
It truly is. The Forest of Arden acts as this symbolic crucible, or even, as some scholars suggest, akin to the Garden of Eden, a place where characters are stripped of their societal roles and compelled to confront their flaws and deepest selves.
A place for testing.
Exactly. And through profound acts of grace and mercy like Orlando, saving Oliver from the lioness even after Oliver had tried to kill him, characters undergo powerful renewal and transformation.
Like Oliver's conversion.
Yes, Oliver's conversion, his declaration, "'Twas I, but 'tis not I. I do not shame to tell you what I was, since my conversion so sweetly tastes being the thing I am." It's a breathtaking moment of self-awareness and repentance.
'Twas I, but 'tis not I. He's saying he's changed completely.
Completely. It's not just a change of heart, but a complete moral and spiritual rebirth. And Duke Frederick's unexpected abdication, spurred by his own encounter with a religious man in the forest, symbolizes the restoration of harmony and the healing of fractured relationships. It powerfully demonstrates that kindness is indeed nobler ever than revenge.
So these transformations aren't just convenient plot devices to wrap things up.
Not at all. They convey a deep message that meaningful change and redemption are possible, even for those who have caused great harm, and that true healing often comes from confronting adversity and embracing compassion. Arden provides that unique space for moral reckoning. Hashtag tag 5e. Iconic moments and enduring wisdom.
Let's revisit Jacques's most famous monologue, the iconic "All the world's a stage." It's probably one of Shakespeare's most recognizable lines, almost a cultural shorthand for viewing life through a theatrical lens. What's truly at the heart of this enduring speech, beyond its initial pessimism?
Yeah, it truly is a cultural touchstone, isn't it? And while we touched on it earlier in the context of Jacques's character, its resonance goes far beyond his personal melancholy.
Right.
This speech provides that detailed breakdown of his profound and frankly gloomy vision of human life. Comparing life to a play, all the men and women merely players, each entering and exiting through various acts.
The 7 acts.
Exactly. He then famously catalogs the 7 ages of man, from the helpless infant mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, all the way to second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Pretty bleak.
It is, though the concept of life stages was a commonplace idea back then, drawing from Greek philosophy, medieval thought, often used for moral instruction.
But Jacques uses it differently.
He presents it not as a cycle of growth or wisdom, but as a reductive summary of human existence. He portrays it as a pointless and arbitrary journey through these imposed stages without any inherent joy or satisfaction.
Like we're just puppets going through the motions.
That's his take. He dismisses the schoolboy's earnest learning as mere whining, the lover's passionate sighs as insincere, woeful ballads, and the soldier's pursuit of bubble reputation as ultimately hollow and transient. In his view, human life is just a series of meaningless performances, a relentless decline leading only to oblivion.
So why is it so famous, if it's so depressing?
Its enduring power lies in its stark, unflinching look at mortality and the seemingly predetermined nature of human experience. It offers this potent philosophical counterpoint to the play's overall comedic resolution. It makes you stop and think.
But the brilliance of Shakespeare is that he rarely offers just one perspective, does he? Immediately after Jacques' bleak assessment, doesn't the play offer a powerful counter-argument, suggesting maybe there is more to life than just a slow fade to oblivion?
It absolutely does, and this juxtaposition is key to the play's rich complexity. Much later in the play, Jacques' sour view of things is forcefully countered by the page's cheerful song, "It was a lover and his lass."
The song.
This energetic lyric doesn't deny that life is but a flower, or that time passes quickly. It acknowledges that. But instead, its answering exhortation is to make the most of each season, especially spring, the mating time.
Carpe diem.
Exactly. It sings about the joy of simple, present pleasures, the beauty of youth and love. It speaks to finding fulfillment for those who choose to seize the day and embrace the present moment, rather than lamenting life's fleeting nature.
How does the song put it?
And therefore take the present time, with a hey and a ho and a hey nanny no, for love is crowned with the prime, in springtime, the only pretty ring time.
Much more optimistic.
Completely. This isn't just a happy tune. It's a profound philosophical rebuttal to Jacques' cynicism. This deliberate juxtaposition highlights the play's pluralism. It offers different truths without declaring a single victor, inviting you, the listener, to decide which perspective resonates more deeply.
So it's up to us.
It's a testament to the idea that meaning and joy are often found in how you choose to engage with life, not just its inevitable end.
Beyond all the world's a stage, what other poignant or witty lines truly capture the play's essence and offer enduring wisdom that we can still chew on today? There must be others.
Oh, there are so many that stick with you. Duke Sr. offers that profound observation early on, setting a tone for finding goodness even in hardship. Sweet are the uses of adversity.
A powerful idea.
It's a remarkable sentiment for a banished duke. suggesting that even our misfortunes can yield valuable lessons and unexpected blessings. He then follows with that wonderfully poetic assertion. Finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything.
Nature as teacher.
Beautifully put. It illustrates the restorative wisdom and lessons that can be found by simply observing and connecting with the natural world, a core message of the pastoral setting.
And Touchstone. He must have some zingers.
Of course. Then there's Touchstone's brilliantly insightful yet cynical remark. The more pity that fools may not speak wisely what wise men do foolishly.
Love it. What does it mean?
It perfectly encapsulates the fool's unique and critical role as a truth teller in society. He's saying it's a shame fools aren't allowed to openly comment on the foolish things powerful, supposedly wise people do. He can expose the hypocrisy of those in power who often act unwisely, even while believing themselves clever.
Ouch, sharp.
These lines aren't just pretty words, they're condensed philosophy, packed with layers of meaning for us to ponder, even today.
Even centuries after it was written, as you like, it still holds this incredible timeless appeal for modern audiences. Its deep dive into identity and that perennial human search for meaning feels incredibly relevant today. Why do you think that is?
I think that's because Rosalind's journey profoundly resonates with contemporary challenges of finding authenticity and escaping societal pressures. It just hits home.
How so?
Well, in a world increasingly driven by social media personas and external validation, her experience and that of the other characters in Arden illuminates the universal human experience of self-realization that often occurs through introspection and challenging circumstances.
Getting away from it all to find yourself.
Exactly. It's about stripping away expectations and discovering who you truly are when no one is watching, or when you're freed from the need to perform a certain role. The play, at its heart, offers this sophisticated analysis of how life could and probably should be.
What's the suggestion, then?
It suggests that true understanding and happiness stem from an internal congruence, an alignment between who you are and how you act, rather than constant external validation or rigid societal roles. The powerful call to embrace your true self, wherever you find the space to do that.
And that enduring allure of the Forest of Arden. It's such a powerful symbol of retreat, freedom, renewal. It captures that universal dream of escape, doesn't it? That idea of just packing up and leaving your troubles behind for a simpler, more authentic life.
It certainly does, and it taps into a deeply ingrained human desire. The play suggests that stepping outside our customary environments, literally or metaphorically, can indeed lead to meaningful personal change and the healing of relationships.
A fresh start.
Exactly, offering a restorative power akin to a second inception, a fresh start. Arden is a place of possibility where past grievances can be shed and new connections forged. However,
There's always a however.
well, what's also important is Shakespeare's nuanced portrayal, which effectively shredded the traditional, often unrealistic pastoral ideal of a purely idyllic, trouble-free rural existence.
Right, it's not perfect.
While Arden is where the rules of the court do not apply, thereby negating some oppressive legal and social structures, there's also a dark side, or at least a realistic grounding to this escapist fantasy.
Like what?
Jacques' refusal to return to court, combined with Touchstone's pragmatism about the daily realities of life and Arden, like the need to work, the basic, even crude nature of survival, suggests that idealized escapist fantasies can sometimes be exploitive, if not grounded.
Exploitive how?
Maybe in ignoring the real labor, like Corin's, that makes the place run. Or in assuming escape solves everything. It can even cause more harm than good if they lead to an inability to engage with the world. The play advocates for a more realistic and pragmatic approach to life's ideals.
So find freedom, but don't expect zero problems.
Pretty much. The locals in Arden, like Corin, simply view it as home, a place of daily toil and genuine community, not a magical retreat from all responsibility. It's a place where you do find freedom, but that freedom often comes with its own kind of work and a different set of realities.
And finally, it's amazing how, as you like, it continues to spark contemporary conversations around gender, sexuality, differing perspectives. It makes it feel remarkably modern despite its age.
It's a testament to its enduring depth and Shakespeare's genius, isn't it? Rosalind's disguise and her complex interactions, alongside Touchstone's body wit and Jacques' pervasive cynicism. They collectively offer this dual view that constantly challenges fixed meanings and encourages critical thinking.
It doesn't give easy answers.
Not at all. The play delights in presenting multiple sides of an argument, multiple ways of living and loving, without demanding conformity.
Like with love and sexuality.
Exactly. The play's embrace of varied forms of love, including those subtle suggestions of homoeroticism through Phoebe's infatuation with Ganymede, and that intense, almost foundational bond between Rosalind and Celia, a bond Orlando himself observes is dearer than the natural bond of sisters, allows for a comprehensive exploration of love as you like it.
Accepting different forms.
Yes. This demonstrates Shakespeare's remarkable ability to transcend conventional norms and invite audiences to consider the full spectrum of human experience, making it a play that continues to provoke thought and resonate deeply in our complex world today.
What an incredible deep dive into As You Like It. We've truly uncovered so much, from the play's initial family conflicts and the profound transformative power of disguise
Essentially.
to the many facets of love and that stark, insightful contrast between artificial court life and the liberating yet grounded country. It's a play that just keeps on giving, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Through its compelling characters, its sharp wit, and its rich thematic tapestry, As You Like, it ultimately champions self-discovery, the profound power of forgiveness, and that timeless pursuit of authenticity.
Yeah.
It truly shows us how joy and genuine understanding can be found as you like it, often in the most unexpected places and through the most surprising transformations. It reminds us that sometimes stepping away from the familiar is exactly what we need to find ourselves.
So, a final thought for you to mull over. If life truly is a stage and we are merely players, what role do you choose to play when you are given the freedom to live as you like it?